Myst was always one of those games that creeped me out as a kid. Growing up in the 90s and the early 2000s, this island where it feels surreal and you have to solve these puzzles, it always felt off to me, like somebody was watching you the entire time. But for many people, this game is a core part of their childhood, and it was for me as well. This game from 1993 is one of the greatest point-and-click adventure games of all time. If you didn't grow up in this era though, this game will feel like walking onto another planet. In this video, I'm going to show you how to revisit the island of Myst from a beginner's perspective. So Myst is pretty much available on every platform, but your best bet is to stick to its original format, which is on the PC. There is a remake for the game, but I would just recommend sticking to the remaster, which is called the Masterpiece Edition. It's the closest thing to the original game, and it preserves the original art style, which is one of my favorite art styles. You can get it on Steam or GOG for less than $5 during most of the year. You're gonna spend probably close to 7 or 8 hours depending on how good you are with puzzles and solving riddles. To me, this game is challenging, but this also depends on how your brain works. So I'm very literal and I miss most hints that might seem obvious to other people. So I'm not very good at a lot of puzzles, but other people might be able to get through this game really quickly. It just kind of depends, but I would say for the most part, this is more of a challenging game. The game is very simplistic with its controls. All you're gonna use is the mouse and your brain. And that's it. You just point and move around. You might think else. I recommend not using a guide for this game as much as possible. So the main thing with this game is you get placed on this island and you need to figure out what happened, why is everyone missing. You need to unlock each of the worlds and also collect these blue and red pages. And then eventually you need to return them to these books on the island of Myst. So there's 4 worlds along with the hub world of Myst. And so you're pretty much going to be traveling on this island and you're going to be unlocking these other worlds. Things can be done in a non-linear fashion. So there's 4 worlds and typically people unlock 1 or 2 of them first, but you can go in any order that you want. One thing I recommend is that the game is meant to revisit sections, and so if you get stuck, just come back to a section. The library is your key spot for where you need to go. The library and the corresponding tower, that is where you are going to solve most of these puzzles. So if you get stuck in the beginning of the game, go to the library, go to the tower, and that's really where you need to go. One thing that you really need to have in this game is you need a notebook to write stuff down. There are times where you will find clues in one world and that will tell you what to do in another world. So the goal is you go into each world, you find the blue or red pages or both, and then you need to return them to the corresponding books on Myst, which is in the library. Speaking of the library, a key thing is that you need to read the books in the library. So this is going to tell you where to go next, and also it's going to give you clues to the story. This is truly a game where they do not tell you anything. The only thing they tell you is that there's a letter on the ground, and that points you in the right direction and kind of gets you started with the story. Sometimes you have to do multiple actions at a time when you're playing this game. So for instance, you need to enter a number on a code pad, press the button, turn around, and then push another button. So you have to do some things in sequence. A couple things with this game, I'm going to talk about some slight spoilers where I got stuck or I just rage quit because sometimes I'm an idiot with these. So these are parts where I got stuck in the game as a first-time player. I am not going to give any specific answers, but these are areas where I got stuck. So one of the first areas where I got stuck was just on the island itself. The constellations. I could not figure out what to do with the constellations. And then I could not figure out the switches on the island. There's these random switches that are around the island. And one of the first things you do is you have to count the number of switches, but I never quite understood what the switches actually did for a long time. They do something, but that frustrated me. Another thing is that you can only hold one page at a time. So if you have the blue page, you can't grab the red page at the same time. So you have to grab the blue page, head back to Myst, and then go back and do the red page. Or you can just stick to one. Another puzzle that I struggled with a lot, and I'm sure a lot of people have, is in the stone ship world, there is a telescope on top of the lighthouse, and there's a puzzle with that, and that one drove me nuts. I don't know how anyone figured that one out by themselves, but that is a really tricky one. And finally, this last part, the hardest point in the entire game, in my opinion. A lot of people bring about the sound puzzles that's in one of the worlds, and also the rocket. The sound puzzles were tricky, but in my opinion, the hardest puzzle in this game is the damn mine carts. There's a minecart section where you're going through this tunnels, and you need to navigate the tunnels, but you can't really see where you're going. Holy crap, that part is just, you need to navigate it, but then you're stuck in it. So like, I remember I was stuck in the minecart area for like 30-40 minutes because I couldn't find the exit, and then I couldn't also get back to the entrance. So please, before you hit the minecart area, make sure you save so that you don't get stuck in it forever. But that part was ridiculous. If you want to solve it naturally, you have to draw a map of the minecart area, and that's how you solve it. Alright, so those are some just quick hints for Myst, beginner tips for how to play this game. In reality, the less you know about this game, the better. Just go into it with an open mind. You're gonna get lost, you're gonna be super confused. The island is mysterious and kind of creepy, but this is definitely one of the best puzzle games of all time. And see where you get stuck and compare that to other people. So I highly recommend playing Myst. Get the Masterpiece Edition. It's at times less than $5. And see if you can solve the mystery of the red and the blue pages and figure out who is telling the truth.